What if I told you that a penny many people ignore every day could spark endless confusion among collectors simply because of something it does not have? No special color, no dramatic design change, no obvious mistake, just one tiny missing detail that makes people stop and take a second look. Today, we're exploring the 1997 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that often raises questions, creates excitement, and sometimes leads people to wonder if they have discovered a hidden treasure sitting in an old jar of spare change. The 1997 Lincoln penny is one of the most common coins Americans encountered during the late 1990s. Millions of these pennies passed through cash registers, piggy banks, vending machines, and pockets across the country. Yet despite being so common, the absence of a mint mark on some examples has made this coin the subject of countless collector discussions. To understand why, we first need to look at what a mint mark actually means. A mint mark is a small letter placed on a coin to identify where it was produced. In the United States, coins are often struck at different mint facilities. For modern Lincoln cents, the most common mint marks are D for Denver and, in some years, S for San Francisco. What coin is struck at the Philadelphia Mint? It may carry no mint mark at all. That brings us to the 1997 Lincoln penny. In 1997, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. These coins were intentionally made without a mint mark. So when collectors refer to a 1997 penny with no mint mark, they're usually talking about a regular Philadelphia issue. This is where many people become surprised, because a missing mint mark can sometimes indicate a valuable error coin. Some assume every coin without a mint mark must be rare. But in the case of the standard 1997 Lincoln penny, the lack of a mint mark is completely normal. In fact, that is exactly how the coin was supposed to be made. Still, that doesn't mean the story ends there. The Lincoln cent itself has a fascinating history that stretches back more than a century. The design first appeared in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was a groundbreaking moment in American coinage. Before then, U.S. circulating coins generally featured symbolic figures rather than actual historical people. The artist behind the design was Victor David Brenner. His portrait of Lincoln became one of the most recognizable images ever placed on an American coin. By 1997, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for nearly 90 years. The front of the coin still featured Brenner's classic portrait of Lincoln facing right. On the reverse was the familiar Lincoln Memorial design that had been introduced in 1959. If you look closely at a 1997 penny, you'll see the words "In God We Trust" above Lincoln's head. The word "Liberty" appears to the left. The date 1997 sits to the right. If there is no mint mark beneath the date, the coin was struck in Philadelphia. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. In an impressive bit of miniature artistry, Lincoln himself can actually be seen seated inside the memorial. Many people spend years handling these pennies without ever noticing that tiny detail. The coin was made primarily from zinc with a thin copper coating. Since 1982, most Lincoln cents have been struck using this composition. The coin weighs about 2.5 grams and measures roughly 19 millimeters in diameter. At first glance, none of this sounds especially rare or valuable. And for most 1997 no mint mark pennies, that is true. Circulated examples are extremely common and are generally worth only 1 cent in everyday spending. Even many uncirculated examples can be found for modest prices. However, collectors know that condition can make an enormous difference. A 1997 penny that survived decades without wear, scratches, stains, or damage may attract significant interest from collectors seeking high-grade examples. When professional grading companies assign exceptionally high grades, the value can increase dramatically. This happens because while millions of coins were produced, very few survive in nearly perfect condition. Imagine 2 identical pennies struck on the same day. One spends years passing through cash registers and pockets. The other remains untouched in a collector's roll. Decades later, the difference in preservation can mean the difference between a coin worth face value and one worth dozens or even hundreds of dollars. Beyond condition, collectors also search for mint errors. Error coins occur when something unexpected happens during the minting process. These mistakes can include doubled lettering, off-center strikes, die cracks, clip planchets, or other unusual features. Some 1997 pennies have been reported with minor errors that attract collector attention. While most are not extremely valuable, certain dramatic examples can command premiums depending on their rarity and visual appeal. This is one reason people continue checking their pocket change. Even when a coin itself is common, an unusual error can transform it into something far more desirable. Over the years, collectors have paid notable sums for exceptional 1997 Lincoln cents. High-grade certified examples have sold for amounts far above face value, particularly when they achieve top population grades. Coins with recognized mint errors can also sell for substantial premiums depending on the type and severity of the mistake. For example, an ordinary circulated 1997 no-mint marked penny may be worth only 1 cent. A bright, uncirculated example might sell for a few dollars. A professionally graded coin in an elite state of preservation could reach significantly higher prices among serious collectors. Error varieties may also bring strong bids when they display clear and desirable characteristics. This difference in value highlights one of the most fascinating aspects of coin collecting. The story is often not just about the date on the coin. It is about condition, rarity, demand, and the unique journey each individual coin has taken. Of course, whenever money becomes involved, questions about authenticity follow. Fortunately, identifying a genuine 1997 no-mint mark penny is usually straightforward. First, examine the date carefully. It should clearly read 1997. Next, look beneath the date where a mint mark would normally appear on Denver issues. If the area is smooth and shows no sign of alteration, the coin was likely struck in Philadelphia as intended. Collectors should be cautious of coins that appear damaged or modified. Sometimes people remove mint marks from coins in an attempt to create the appearance of a rare error. Under magnification, evidence of scratching, grinding, or tampering can often be detected. Weight can also provide clues. A genuine 1997 Lincoln cent should weigh approximately 2.5 grams. Significant deviations could indicate damage, alteration, or another issue. For valuable coins, professional authentication remains the safest option. Reputable grading services examine coins carefully and provide an expert opinion regarding authenticity and condition. One interesting fact about the 1997 Lincoln penny is how often it creates confusion among new collectors. Many people learn that certain missing mint marks can be extremely valuable. They then discover a 1997 penny without a mint mark and assume they have found a rare error. The reality is that Philadelphia intentionally produced these coins without one. This misunderstanding has helped keep the coin in collector conversations for years. Another surprising detail involves the Lincoln Memorial reverse. Because the image is so small, countless people never notice that the tiny figure inside the memorial is actually Lincoln himself. It is one of the most remarkable examples of miniature design in circulating American coinage. The 1997 penny also represents a snapshot of America in the late 1990s. It circulated during a period of rapid technological change, growing internet use, and major cultural shifts. Every surviving coin from that year quietly carries a connection to that moment in history. Collectors often appreciate coins for reasons beyond monetary value. A coin can serve as a tangible link to the past. It may remind someone of childhood, family traditions, or the excitement of searching through pocket change, hoping to find something unusual. That emotional connection helps explain why collectors continue to love Lincoln cents. The series is affordable, widely available, and filled with interesting dates, varieties, and historical stories. A beginner can start with coins found in circulation, while advanced collectors can pursue rare varieties and top-grade examples worth significant amounts. The 1997 no-mint mark penny fits perfectly into that tradition. It is accessible enough for anyone to own, yet interesting enough to spark curiosity. It teaches an important lesson in coin collecting. Not every missing detail is a mistake, and not every common coin is worthless. Sometimes the real value comes from understanding the story behind the coin. For many collectors, that story is what makes the hobby so rewarding. A simple penny becomes a puzzle. A date becomes a piece of history. A tiny design detail becomes something worth studying. And perhaps that is the greatest appeal of the 1997 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks ordinary. Most people would never give it a second thought. Yet once you understand its history, its design, the questions surrounding its mint mark, and the possibility of finding an exceptional example, the coin suddenly becomes much more interesting. The next time you come across a handful of pennies, take a closer look. You might find a 1997 Lincoln cent staring back at you. It may not be a hidden fortune. It may not be a famous rarity, but it carries a story that has intrigued collectors for decades. And who knows, somewhere in a forgotten coin jar, an old collection, or a pocket full of change, there could be another penny waiting to reveal a detail that most people never notice. Sometimes the most fascinating discoveries are hiding in the smallest places.